So hi everyone, welcome to Styles and Seams. Today I'm doing an interview with Taylor of Tailor Tall. I'm really excited to share with you this new clothing line that's for tall women, but it's focused on sustainability. It's focused on the ethics that go into the actual production of the clothing. One of the things that I've said recently on social media and, in my speaking in the public is that there's so few options for tall women, and really all of our choices boil down to mass market retail and fast fashion. And there really aren't many options for women who, have an interest in sustainability and have an interest in the story that goes into their clothing, but want to actually have clothes that fit for a tall person.
Exactly.
Taylor and I met via Instagram DMs, and we've been friends over the last couple of months, and I'm really excited. We're both wearing one of the shirts from the collection that I really love. I've been living in it for the past couple of weeks. So I just wanted to talk to her today about her story being tall, what went into actually starting the clothing line, some more information about what sustainability means for the fashion industry, and what's next to come for Tailor Tall. So everyone, welcome Taylor.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Robyn. Again, it's been great to get to know you, and I'm happy to be, here, and thank you so much for sharing more about Tailor Tall.
Okay, awesome. So as we get started, obviously Styles and Seams is fashion DIY sewing, but the whole vein that runs through it is the fact that I'm 6'2", and that's what's motivated me to start sewing and start getting more interested in fashion. So I'd love to know, what is your tall story?
Yeah, I feel like my tall story is depicted in comic reels of sketches throughout my life. So, it's unfortunately in school, feeling uncomfortable, like my pants were too low in the back, and then, being a swimmer and the one-piece team bathing suit, never really feeling great, and traveling as an adult through Nepal and, tiny doorways, things like that. And we're here working on our next collection in Mumbai, and there's a McDonald's that I can touch with the top of my head, the ceiling. So, and of course, being in fitting rooms at Gap, trying on every single pair of skinny jeans, and just seeing the pile of putbacks that none of them work. So, I feel like those are my tall story is identified by the moments where I've really noticed it in my environment, my height.
I feel like I have so much in common with all of those things. I was on the swim team and could barely fit into a swimsuit, and I have this picture in my mind of being in China when I studied abroad and standing up straight with my head at the top of the door frame. And dealing with that everywhere that I went. Great. So that is, your life as a tall person. But what brought you into the fashion industry?
Yeah, well, I grew up with my mom as a costume designer. And so, we always had a sewing room at home, and my first projects were Beanie Baby clothing, of course. And so I did fall in love with creating things and making physical things with my hands. And as I grew up, I got more and more into fine arts and photography. But then interned at Nordstrom and had my first job there. And I just really loved how they focused on quality service and experience in their store, and the importance of connection with their customers and long-term relationships. Of course, then also all the styles and the, exciting brands that were there. And then I did a little bit of costuming myself in college, and then joined a startup fashion brand in Chicago after graduation. So it was a fair trade brand as well, women's wear, and just again fell in love with especially the different textiles we got to use of traditional textiles from India. And I joined as a production manager there, and got to travel a lot, working with different textile sources and stitching units there around the world. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah, like a long storied history with fashion and apparel making, like all over the world.
Yeah.
So obviously Tailor Tall, like this is you as an entrepreneur, like this is your baby. What made you make the switch into doing this as your own business, and what made you decide that, you know, this market for tall women is where you wanted to focus?
So yeah, my husband and I have been wanting to give entrepreneurship a go for a while now. And, you know, as I think it suits our personalities, and just a you know, goal that we had, and now was the time. And I think that, you know, we knew a few things about starting a business. We wanted to do whatever product or service we were going to provide really well. We felt like we should have some experience in the industry, and we wanted to solve a problem for people. I think that was the biggest thing, is that we just wanted our business to really have a purpose. And so, you know, kind of narrowing through, like, we've both traveled with the garment industry and loved it. And as well, like, fitting clothing is a big personal problem for me, and I was interested, and I felt like it was a place that we could really get to know the customers within that market, and really try to listen to their needs.
Absolutely. Well, I'm, for one, very glad that you've started a tall clothing line, because I have been screaming about how there is nothing out there for us. And you mentioned something about going into the fitting room and, you know, not having the clothes that gap fit you properly. I examine a lot about, like, what are the differences in fit, usually when I'm working with commercial patterns, and I'm saying, you know, I have to add an inch and a half here, I have to, like, narrow it here, I have to make all these different adjustments. But what have you found in developing a clothing line are the ways in which you've needed to adapt the fit for taller women?
Yeah, it's working with flat patterns. I love how geometrical it is, and how much it uses, like, my math skills, and I really enjoy that part. But you get to see how different bodies are, and how much you have to manipulate, you know, patterns in order to fit them to different people. So yeah, I would say that you know, some of the biggest issues are that the distance from your shoulder to your bust line are, you know, significantly different for a woman who, you know, is like 5'10" to 6'5". You know, the average female that the apparel industry caters to is, you know, anywhere from like 5'4" to 5'6", and there's several inches difference in this distance from your shoulder to your bust. And so you know, so many fitted, like, workwear options, or for dresses, tops, blazers, they're all catered to, you know, the curves of your upper body in a different place. So I would say that, yeah, you know, first the placement of your bust line and that distance there, and then next the placement of your waistline. You know, I feel like anyone who wants to wear an A-line, you know, fitted waist dress is familiar with it hitting their rib cage, you know, and it's too tight. And so yeah, I think and then if, you know, for pants, that rise and the distance from your waist to your hip, again, we just have several more inches in between each of those places than shorter folks. And so and it really makes a difference throughout the whole garment, you know. So it's kind of, we like to say that Tailor Tall, we've really built our patterns from the ground up for tall women. You know, I know that you can't just add inches to the bottom. That's not how women are tall. And also that, you know, we're catering to a range of heights. And so we decided that each and every piece should be a custom length, because while you may be, you know, if you're 5'10" or 6'5", you may both be tall, but you're still quite a bit different. So you should be able to customize the garment to your needs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because I talk to like shorter friends about, you know, it's so hard to find clothes. I'm like, well, you could just, you know, add a little bit at the bottom of the pants. They'll be fine. And they forget that there's so many different spots on a woman's form where you have to add those extra inches and make adjustments so that everything hits in the right place. But I mean, it's really interesting what you're doing and having the custom lengths as well. So basically your block, or the pattern that you're using to design everything, is focused on a taller woman, and then those extra inches come along, which allow anyone from say 5'7" to 6'5" to wear the clothes comfortably. That's such a interesting idea to have it set up that way.
Yeah. We felt like that was, it also supported some of our sustainability goals of kind of helping women get pieces that really work for them, you know, and being able to customize the length helps you, you know, buy pieces that are more of your go-to, you know, in your closet, rather than just still a little too short or a little too long.
Yeah. Another thing that Tailor Tall provides is a credit if you need to get things altered, which I had never seen before. I make my own clothes a lot, so I don't have a lot of experience going to a tailor, but the idea of like being able to still make adjustments after you've gotten the length fit right is really interesting. Can you tell us more about how that works and how your clothes are designed to adapt with that?
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. It is something we're really excited to offer. You know, I've seen a couple other brands do that, and it just makes so much sense. You know, you're making an investment in a piece of clothing, and it's, you know, to some extent, it's still not going to fit everyone perfectly. And so, you know, tailoring is something that a lot of women have to do, or it would help them if they could do it. And so, you know, for us, it was an easy decision that for, you know, a store credit, we could offer reimbursement for tailoring. I think especially that's helpful in the kind of pants that we're making, which are, you know, fitted, business casual, and women have slightly different waist, you know, measurements, and a little bit of tailoring can really help that, help them fit better, and again, be one of your staple items in your closet. So, you know, so for example, our pants, we borrowed from men's tailoring and kept the center back seam with a little excess seam allowance there. So so that tailors could more easily open it up and adjust the size from the hip to the waist without disturbing the quality of the pants. So that's one of the areas of the garments that we're trying to design to lend itself to tailoring if needed.
Yeah, it was really exciting to see that. I've definitely never had that on a pair of like pants that I've owned before, and it just makes such a difference in extending the age of a garment, extending like the wearability of a garment, because like I was even just talking yesterday about how my weight's been fluctuating, and I'm 15 pounds lighter than I was 4 months ago, but that weight might come back. So the ability to be able to tailor that down without, you know, overall changing the structure of the garment makes it so that you can continue to adjust and not have to just get rid of the pants when you pick on a couple of pounds here for the season or for, you know, just life.
Yeah. And I think too, you know, I wanted to focus on, you know, things that were work appropriate when we started. And, you know, so kind of just adding like elastic to a waistband to, you know, allow for changing a weight wasn't something I was that interested in. So, you know, as an alternative, it was important to me that women could update the waist measurements as needed.
Beautiful. Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about, you know, being able to extend the life of your clothes. And I know one of the core tenets of Tailor Tall is the idea of conscious craftsmanship. Can you tell us more about what that means for Tailor Tall?
Yeah, it was kind of hard to like come up with a, you know, way to describe our values because they're both broad and specific. You know, so broadly, I would say that consciously crafted for us just means that we try to be really thoughtful in all the stages of our business development and choices along the way. So, so thoughtfulness for the people involved in our business, those making it, the people that are helping us, you know, with accounting and things like that, you know, and also the planet and quality and presentation, you know, so thoughtfulness in all of those avenues, and certainly service as well to our customers. It has kind of like specific implications for our choices in material sourcing and production. It's really important to us that, you know, we produce our clothing in a kind of positive relationship way, you know, in a way that's a positive relationship for the many parties along the way. So for our fabric sourcing, we try to focus mostly on NGOs or fair trade organizations. We work here in India and get to use some beautiful handmade textile processes that are really, you know, we're trying to preserve that craft that's happening here. Sometimes we source directly from like really high quality market, you know, options for the pants. We want to have durability and things like that. So yeah, thoughtfulness in fabric sourcing, as well as our garments are constructed with a fair trade organization, a factory that's a cooperative setup in Mumbai, social well-being as well. Nathaniel and I've had and it's just great, it's a great partnership for us and enjoyment to be here and work with them. So that's great. And then also, you know, we really felt like our made to order business model was important for consciously crafted. We're trying to reduce overstock inventory and clothing and textiles that go to waste. And we felt like allowing our customers to customize as well helps each piece become more of a staple item for them. So I would say, yeah, those are some of the tenets of our consciously crafted values.
Awesome. Yeah, that's such a different way of thinking than some of the other ways to buy tall clothing out there. You know, ordering online from, don't want to name brands, but not knowing who is working in their factories, having histories of abuses happening in their factories, not really understanding the materials that are involved or the dye processes that might be hurting the environment, but really thinking about it, you know, from every aspect of like, how do we actually create a product that that's good for the earth and good for the people on the earth. It's refreshing to be able to have access to that now. So that's one side. The production is extremely important to sustainability, but then as a consumer, as someone who's actually buying a clothes and filling my wardrobe and like looking in my closet and shopping for outfits in my closet, what are some of the tips that you might have to for women out there who are trying to lean more towards a sustainable wardrobe? What advice do you have for us?
Yeah, I would say that when asked this question, I always come back to buy fewer pieces, but buy better pieces for your wardrobe. I think that, you just look at the statistics about the overconsumption of clothing that's kind of become normal these days. And we've all lived through that, and gone through that kind of realization, like, oh my gosh, I have this expansive closet and I still really only wear a section of it, I think that, the size of an average U.S. woman's closet now is really like a recent phenomena. Clothing used to represent like more of a single home's budget in a year, but it was fewer pieces that really lasted. And that also, as I travel around the world, a lot of cultures are still used to having their clothes made for them specifically. And I think it really helps them, experience good fit and more connection to their clothing. And, it enables them to have fewer things in their closet. So, I think that overall I've noticed that when things fit you well and they feel good on, they're your go-to pieces every time, no matter how many things in your closet you have. So focusing on bringing more of those items into your wardrobe is my biggest advice. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had to downsize my wardrobe like 3 times over the past couple of years, just with moving to London and moving back to the US and being all over the place. And each time I've done it, I've eliminated things that just I don't even really wear. I don't even like. I don't know why I've bought them, and I've started to focus more on like foundational pieces that I'd be happy wearing, 10 times a month, if that's what it means, because I just love them so much. So it makes sense that, you're investing more in getting things that you really love, doing the Marie Kondo thing, like actually having joy from specific items as opposed to just having the clutter of a billion different things in your wardrobe.
Yeah. I also have this philosophy a little bit that, you can only make so many decisions in a day. And if a major, portion of those decisions are just like, which out of 20 shirts am I going to wear? That's using up a lot of your decision-making power for a day. So again, foundational pieces are really helpful in that kind of thing.
Yeah, decision fatigue is very real. There's all these different articles that talk about how like some of the most successful people have more or less a uniform. Like, for example, Steve Jobs, and he'll just wear the same thing all the time because it takes away his need to have to make that decision all the time. And, I'm not really going to go out there and just wear black turtlenecks every day, but even just having, a palette that different things work together, like having a more of a capsule wardrobe where I don't have so much to have to think about. It just makes it so much easier. I was in Martha's Vineyard for a month, not really vacation. I was there for a month, and
I agree.
I packed one suitcase
and allows you to be more confident, like.
Yeah. And that's all I needed. I just needed what I had decided would go together and be great. So I really enjoy how your collection, and I know there's more to come, but your collection, you can interchange any of those pieces and wear them together and build a capsule around everything that's in your wardrobe, as opposed to having it, express so many different viewpoints that you can't really wear things together, or makes it harder for decisions. So I really enjoyed that. So we were talking about what's part of your collection. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, it was important to me in starting my own business and my own line that women could wear my pieces together. If possible, everything should go with something else. So that'll be our continuing goal for sure.
Beautiful. So yeah, with that in mind, just like one final question for you. I'm really interested in what's to come for Tailor Tall. Like you've launched just recently in 2019. I think you've had a great collection for the summer. So just wondering like what are your goals more as a business and also what's coming in the collection?
Yeah. Reaching more tall ladies is our number one goal. You know, in my experience, I think there's even more women who don't necessarily identify as tall, but could really benefit from, you know, trying out some tall brands and seeing the difference that can make and fit. But of course, we plan to release some new products. So we've got styles coming out for fall, a great jacket and some new pant colors and new fabrics. One thing's for sure, we do take a lot of care in developing our products. So, you know, that does take longer and means we'll be having fewer, but we always plan to have, you know, something new per season and are excited to bring those to everyone else.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing with me today. I'm super excited for what's to come with Tailor Tall. Of course, for everyone who's watching this, I'm going to be posting like some of the pieces that I've received from Tailor Tall and how to style them as we enter into the fall season on Styles and Seams. And I'm really excited for the future. And so thank you, Taylor, for joining me today to have this conversation. And I look forward to many more conversations to come.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Robyn. I look forward to the post and, you know, your continued feedback as a sewer. It's really helpful to have those kind of folks advising you. So I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I'm glad everyone, hope they've learned something and enjoy the conversation. And we'll catch up with you soon. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.